The first rays of dawn stretched across the village of Eldoria, painting the rooftops with a soft golden light. Lyanna was already awake, her hands deep in flour and dough, kneading bread in the small bakery her family ran. Life had always been simple for her: wake, work, help her family. But today felt different. As her hands moved rhythmically, a strange warmth spread across her palms. She froze. Tiny glowing marks had appeared on her skin, swirling in intricate patterns she had never seen before. Why now? She whispered to herself, eyes wide. She quickly rubbed her hands against her apron, hoping no one had noticed. But deep down, a sense of unease gripped her. Celine, her best friend, burst into the bakery with her usual cheerful energy. Lyanna, you're daydreaming again. Come on. The bakery won't run itself. Lyanna forced a smile, hiding her hands behind her back. I'm fine, Celine. Just tired. By late morning, the village marketplace buzzed with life. Lyanna and Celine walked through the crowd, exchanging greetings with merchants and neighbors. But today, the usual bustle seemed overshadowed by whispers. A figure in fine robes had arrived, Riven, the Prince of Eldoria himself, touring the outskirts of the kingdom. The crowd parted as he walked, regal and commanding. Yet there was a softness in his gaze that made Lyanna's heart skip. A clumsy merchant bumped into her, sending her basket tumbling. Riven's hand reached out instinctively, steadying her. Their eyes met, and for a fleeting moment, it felt as though time had paused. Are you all right, miss? He asked, his voice calm but layered with curiosity. Yes, thank you, Your Highness, Lyanna stammered, cheeks flushing. Celine whispered urgently, careful, that's the prince. As the day wore on, Lyanna could not shake the memory of Riven's gaze. Back at her home that evening, the glow on her hands had grown stronger. In the quiet of her room, a faint whisper echoed through her mind. The time has come. Before she could make sense of it, the energy surged, and Lyanna collapsed, the mysterious light enveloping her. Celine caught her just in time, panic written across her face. Lyanna, wake up. What's happening to you? She cried. I don't know, something is inside me. Lyanna gasped, the glow dimming, but leaving her trembling with fear and curiosity. That night, as the village slept, Lyanna lay awake, the strange marks on her hands pulsing softly. Something had awakened within her, something that would change her life forever and far away. In the heart of the royal palace, Riven could not stop thinking about the girl with the uncertain gaze, unaware that destiny had already begun weaving their paths together. The morning sun spilled over Eldoria, casting long shadows on the cobblestone streets. Lyanna still couldn't shake the unease from the previous night. The glowing marks on her hands had faded, but the whisper she had heard lingered in her mind like a ghost. The time has come. As she helped Celine sweep the bakery floor, a sudden commotion erupted in the village square. A royal messenger, clad in deep blue and gold, rode in on a white horse, his presence commanding immediate attention. By decree of Prince Riven, Lyanna of Eldoria is requested at the palace, the messenger announced, bowing slightly. Lyanna froze, her heart hammering. Me? But why? She stammered. Celine grabbed her hand, eyes wide with excitement and worry. Lyanna, this is it. Whatever is happening with your hands, it's connected. You have to go. With little time to think, Lyanna followed the messenger, the village fading behind her. Her mind raced with questions. What did the prince want with her? And why now, when her mysterious powers had only just begun to awaken? At the palace, Lyanna was led through towering halls adorned with golden chandeliers and intricate tapestries depicting Eldoria's history. Every step seemed surreal, as though she had stepped into a dream. Finally, she entered a grand chamber, where Prince Riven awaited, standing beside a window overlooking the palace gardens. His eyes softened when he saw her, a small smile playing on his lips. Welcome, Lyanna, Riven said, his voice calm but layered with curiosity. I have heard of your unique abilities. The kingdom may need someone like you very soon. Lyanna felt a mix of fear and pride. Abilities? I don't. I'm just an ordinary girl, she said, trying to keep her voice steady. Riven took a careful step closer. You are not ordinary, and this is why I have asked for you here. There are forces stirring in Eldoria that even the crown cannot face alone. I believe you have a role to play. Lyanna's mind whirled, her thoughts a storm of doubt and excitement. She looked down at her hands, the memory of the glowing marks flashing in her mind. Perhaps this was why they had appeared. Perhaps destiny had finally found her. Outside the palace walls, shadows stirred, and Malric observed silently from afar, a cruel smile twisting his lips. He had his own plans for the kingdom and for the girl who might change everything. The palace gardens shimmered in the morning sun, fountains glinting like scattered diamonds. Lyanna followed Prince Riven through the grand corridors, her heart racing with a mix of awe and anxiety. Everything about the palace was magnificent, the walls adorned with golden patterns, the scent of fresh flowers lingering in the air, and the distant sound of servants bustling quietly. "You must be tired after your journey," Riven said gently. "Take a moment to rest before we begin." Lyanna nodded, still overwhelmed. She had never imagined that her simple village life could lead her to this place. Her hands twitched slightly, almost as if they remembered the strange power that had awakened the night before. "I need to understand what's happening to me," she murmured, almost to herself. Riven's eyes softened. "Then we will learn together. There is much about your abilities that is unknown, even to you. But time is not on our side. Eldoria faces threats that cannot be ignored." He led her to a secluded chamber filled with sunlight and mirrors. "This is where you will train. I will guide you, but you must also trust yourself." Lyanna raised her hands, the faint glow from the marks reappearing. She hesitated, fear and curiosity battling inside her. Then, taking a deep breath, she focused, trying to channel the energy she felt within. A spark of light shot from her palms, dancing in the air before fading into a soft hum. Celine, who had been observing quietly from a corner, gasped, "Lyanna, that's incredible. I can't control it fully yet," Lyanna admitted, eyes wide. "But it feels powerful." Riven stepped closer. "Power is nothing without understanding. You must learn to control it, for the sake of yourself and for Eldoria." Hours passed, and Lyanna practiced tirelessly under Riven's guidance. Each small success filled her with confidence, but the deeper her power grew, the more she sensed the lurking threat of Malric. Somewhere, the antagonist's eyes were fixed on her, waiting for a moment to exploit her growing abilities. That evening, as Lyanna gazed out over the palace walls, she realized that her life had irrevocably changed. She was no longer just a village girl. She had a role to play, a destiny to fulfill, and powers that could either save or destroy the kingdom. And far beyond the palace, in the shadowed corners of Eldoria, Malric's cruel smile widened. His plans were moving forward, and soon he would test the limits of Lyanna's newfound power. Night had fallen over Eldoria, and the palace lay bathed in silver moonlight. Lyanna sat quietly in her chamber, exhausted, but determined. Her hands throbbed with the lingering energy of the day's training, and she couldn't stop thinking about the strange marks that had appeared, growing brighter with each use of her power. Meanwhile, far from the palace, in the dark halls of his fortress, Malric studied a map of Eldoria. His eyes gleamed with ambition and malice. "So, the girl awakens," he muttered, "power she cannot yet control. Yet the prince himself is guiding her. Perfect. She will be both the key and the pawn in my plan." Malric's shadowy agents whispered among themselves, plotting the next move. A single slip from Lyanna could give him the advantage he craved. Back at the palace, Lyanna confided in Celine, who had become her constant companion. "I feel like Malric is watching me," Lyanna said, her voice barely above a whisper. Celine grasped her hand firmly. "He is, and we must be careful. But remember, Lyanna, you're not alone. Riven believes in you. So do I." The following morning, Riven led Lyanna to a training ground hidden within the palace. "Today, we will test your control further," he said, his expression serious. "You must learn to summon and contain the energy within you without hesitation." Lyanna took a deep breath, closing her eyes. She focused on the warmth in her hands, the spark of light, the whisper of power. Slowly, a soft glow emerged, growing stronger with each heartbeat. She lifted her arms and suddenly, the energy shot into the air, forming luminous symbols that floated like stars. Riven's eyes widened. "Excellent, Lyanna. You are stronger than you realize, but strength alone will not save Eldoria. Wisdom and courage will." At that very moment, far beyond the palace walls, a shadow moved swiftly toward the village where Lyanna had grown up. Malric had sent a scout, seeking any weakness he could exploit. The peaceful village streets, so familiar to Lyanna, were about to be disturbed, and the first real test of her newfound power loomed on the horizon. Lyanna lowered her arms, feeling both exhilarated and anxious. She knew her journey had only just begun, and that darkness, led by Malric, was creeping ever closer. The sun had barely risen over Eldoria when a sudden disturbance shattered the calm of Lyanna's childhood village. Birds scattered from the rooftops, and the cobblestone streets echoed with hurried footsteps. Shadows moved with unnatural swiftness, and the villagers' peaceful mourning turned to panic. Lyanna, training earlier with Riven, sensed a surge of unease. Her glowing marks pulsed as if warning her. "Something's wrong," she said, gripping Celine's hand tightly. Riven, who had accompanied her to the village at her request, scanned the streets. "Stay close to me," he instructed. "This is no ordinary threat." From the alleyways emerged Malric's agents, cloaked in dark garb, their eyes gleaming with malicious intent. They moved with precision, targeting the villagers to spread fear and force Lyanna into a corner. Lyanna stepped forward, determination flashing in her eyes. She could no longer hide from what she had become. She raised her hands, channeling the energy that had been growing within her. A brilliant light erupted, creating a protective barrier around the villagers. The agents paused, surprised by the sudden display of power. One stepped forward, dagger in hand, only to be thrown back by a burst of energy from Lyanna. "Lyanna, control it, or it will overwhelm you," Riven shouted, his voice cutting through the chaos. Lyanna clenched her fists, focusing on the warmth and glow inside her. Slowly, she directed the energy outward, sending the agents sprawling, unable to maintain their assault. Her confidence grew with each move, her powers responding to her will rather than fear. Celine ran to help the villagers find safety. "Hurry, get inside," she called, guiding them toward the marketplace buildings. The confrontation ended as quickly as it began. Malric's agents retreated, disappearing into the shadows, leaving only chaos and overturned carts behind. Lyanna breathed heavily, her hands still glowing faintly. Riven placed a hand on her shoulder. "You did well, Lyanna. This was your first real test, but be aware, Malric will not stop. He knows your potential now, and he will come again." Lyanna looked at the quieted village, a mix of fear and determination in her eyes. "I'm ready. I can't let him hurt anyone else." From afar, hidden among the hills, Malric's eyes burned with fury. "So, the girl awakens fully," he muttered. "Very well. This is only the beginning." Days had passed since the first confrontation, but Eldoria did not return to peace. Rumors of Malric's movements spread like wildfire, and tension thickened in every corner of the kingdom. Lyanna felt the weight of responsibility pressing on her chest. Every flicker of her glowing hands reminded her that her power was no longer just hers. It was tied to the safety of those she loved. Riven had arranged for Lyanna to continue her training in secret chambers beneath the palace. There, she learned not only to summon energy, but to mold it, shape it, and anticipate its movement. The prince was patient, yet firm, pushing her beyond her limits. "You are stronger than you realize," Riven said, guiding her through a complex maneuver. "But strength alone won't be enough. Malric's agents are clever, and they will test your limits. You must trust yourself and your instincts." Celine, ever loyal, had stayed by Lyanna's side, helping her stay grounded. "You're not alone," she reminded her. "We face this together." That night, as Lyanna practiced alone in the palace gardens, a chill swept through the air. She sensed it before she saw it. A group of Malric's agents approaching, cloaked in shadows, their movements silent but deadly. Lyanna's heart raced. She called upon her energy, forming a radiant barrier just as the agents attacked. Sparks flew, illuminating the night as Lyanna fought with precision, her power now responding to her will. Riven appeared beside her, drawing his sword with practiced ease. Together, they pushed back the agents, their movements synchronized, almost like a dance. Celine rushed to assist the fleeing villagers, ensuring no one was harmed. But one agent broke through, faster and more cunning than the others. Lyanna struggled to contain the energy directed at him. Just as the agent lunged, Riven intercepted, deflecting the attack, and Lyanna unleashed a controlled burst of power, sending the intruder flying into the shadows. Breathing heavily, Lyanna looked at Riven. "I am starting to understand it. I can control it more than before." Riven nodded, eyes serious. "Good. But remember, this is only the beginning. Malric will escalate. He knows now that you are a force to be reckoned with, far beyond the palace. hidden in his fortress. Malric's lips curled into a sinister smile. She is learning very good. Let's see how she fares when her loved ones are in danger. That will truly awaken her power. The sun barely peeked over the horizon when alarms rang through Eldoria. Torches flared in the palace walls as guards shouted warnings. Lyanna, Riven, and Celine rushed to the battlements to witness a terrifying sight. Malric's forces had advanced, dark silhouettes stretching across the fields, moving with relentless precision. Lyanna's heart pounded. He's attacking now, she whispered, the glowing marks on her hands intensifying. Riven's jaw tightened. We expected this eventually, but we can't let him breach the palace. He drew his sword, the sunlight reflecting off the steel. Lyanna, stay with me. Celine, protect the civilians in the lower grounds. As Malric's army approached, Lyanna stepped forward. She raised her hands, summoning waves of radiant energy to block the first wave of attackers. Sparks and magical bursts lit the air, and the ground shook with the force of her power. Celine guided villagers into safe chambers, her calm voice a beacon amidst the chaos. This way, stay together. Lyanna is here to protect us. Riven moved with precision, his sword slicing through the enemy ranks, protecting Lyanna as she unleashed controlled bursts of energy. Every strike and shield of light was calculated, their teamwork flawless yet tense. From the shadows, Malric watched through a magical scrying orb, a dark smile curling on his lips. She is strong, but can she withstand what comes next? He murmured. Suddenly, a colossal shadow fell over the palace gate. Malric had sent a monstrous creature, imbued with dark magic, to break through the defenses. Lyanna's breath caught. The creature's eyes glowed with malice, and its roar shook the very walls. Riven shouted, Lyanna, focus your power. Together we can stop it. Lyanna concentrated, feeling the energy surge within her, the glowing marks spreading across her arms. She raised her hands, unleashing a powerful beam of radiant light directly at the creature. It screeched in fury, stumbling back as Riven struck with a precision blow, sending it crashing into the outer courtyard. For a moment, silence fell. The palace stood, battered but unbroken. Lyanna lowered her hands, exhausted, yet triumphant. Riven placed a steadying hand on her shoulder. You did it. Eldoria stands because of you. But far away, hidden in the dark fortress, Malric's eyes burned with rage. So, she grows stronger. Very well. Next time, she will not be so lucky. After the siege, the palace was in disarray. Yet the spirit of Eldoria remained unbroken. Lyanna sat in the quiet of her chamber, her hands still glowing faintly from the battle. She could feel the lingering energy, like a pulse within her that demanded understanding. Riven entered, his expression serious but calm. Lyanna, there is something you must know about your power, and why Malric seeks it. Lyanna looked up, her eyes wide. What do you mean? I don't understand. I've only just begun to control it. Riven knelt beside her. Long ago, the royal line of Eldoria was protected by an ancient magic, a power that could shape the fate of the kingdom. It was thought lost until it appeared in you. That is why Malric desires you so desperately. Your ability can tip the balance of power, either for the kingdom or for those who would see it fall. Lyanna's hands trembled. I'm the key. That's why the marks appeared. Riven nodded. Yes. The marks are a manifestation of that ancient magic. Awakened by your spirit, you have inherited a responsibility greater than you imagined. Celine entered quietly, holding a small, intricately carved box. Lyanna, I found this hidden in your family home. It has symbols that match the ones on your hands. Lyanna opened the box, revealing a pendant that pulsed with a soft light. Reacting to her touch, she felt a surge of connection, as if the pendant and her power were linked. Riven's gaze softened. This is your guide. With it, you will learn to focus and expand your abilities. But remember, power is not just about strength, it is about choice, wisdom, and courage. Lyanna clutched the pendant, a new determination forming in her heart. Then I'll learn. I'll control this power and protect Eldoria. Outside, the night air carried a whisper of movement. Malric was not finished. He had retreated for now, but his plans were far from over. The real test was yet to come, and Lyanna's journey to fully understand her destiny had only just begun. The calm after the siege was deceptive. Eldoria appeared peaceful, but shadows lingered at the edges, whispering of a storm yet to come. Lyanna, Riven, and Celine continued their training, refining skills and strengthening bonds. But Maurik was already making his next move. In the depths of his fortress, Maurik paced before a grand map of Eldoria. She grows stronger every day, he muttered, fingers tracing the palace and surrounding lands. If I strike directly, she may be ready. No, I need a plan that forces her to reveal her limits. He gestured, and one of his lieutenants stepped forward. The villages near the Silver River are weakly defended, my lord. Good, Maurik said, a cruel smile curling his lips. Draw her out. Make her fight for what she loves most. Only then will I see the extent of her power, and where her weakness lies. Far in the palace, Lyanna felt an unease she could not explain. The pendant around her neck pulls softly, reacting to the impending threat. Something's coming, she whispered to Celine, her eyes narrowing. Riven placed a hand on her shoulder. Maurik's not finished. We must be ready. Tell me what you feel. Lyanna focused, letting the energy within her align with the pendant. It's fear but also determination. He's moving against the villagers by the Silver River. He wants to test me. Riven nodded, determination in his gaze. Then we move. We protect them, and we show Maurik that his schemes will fail. By dusk, Lyanna, Riven, and Celine had arrived at the outskirts of the Silver River villages. Smoke curled in the distance, and villagers ran in panic, pursued by shadowy figures. Lyanna's hands glowed brightly. We can't let them escape, she shouted, raising a shield of radiant energy to block the advancing agents. Riven moved swiftly beside her, sword flashing under the moonlight. Celine guided the villagers to safety, her voice steady and reassuring. The trio fought in perfect sync, pushing back Maurik's agents, each battle teaching Lyanna more about her limits and her potential. But as the last agent retreated, a chilling voice echoed through the night. Clever, but not enough, Lyanna. Maurik's voice called from the shadows, filled with dark amusement. Next time, your precious village will not be so fortunate. Lyanna's fists clenched. I'll be ready, Maurik. I won't let you harm anyone else. And in the darkness, Maurik's eyes glimmered with anticipation, knowing the true test was still ahead, a confrontation that would decide the fate of Eldoria itself. The morning air carried tension as Lyanna, Riven, and Celine returned to Eldoria's palace. The previous night's battle at the Silver River villages had left scars, but it also strengthened their resolve. The kingdom itself seemed to sense the growing danger, its ancient walls whispering of trials yet to come. Lyanna clutched the pendant around her neck, its glow pulsed in rhythm with her heartbeat, a steady reminder of the power she had barely begun to understand. Maurik's getting bolder, she said, her voice quiet but firm. He's testing me and everyone I care about. Riven's gaze was sharp, protective. We must anticipate his moves. He will strike where we least expect it. Eldoria itself is at stake. As they entered the grand hall, advisors rushed past with urgent messages. Smoke trails from distant towers marked the approach of Maurik's shadow forces. The kingdom's defenses were ready, but the sheer number and speed of the attacks were unprecedented. Lyanna took a deep breath, feeling the energy within her rise. She raised her hands, summoning a radiant barrier that spread across the palace gates. Soldiers behind her moved with renewed courage, bolstered by her presence. Riven moved beside her, coordinating the defense. Celine guided the civilians to safety, her calm determination keeping panic at bay. Together, they formed an unbreakable front against the advancing shadows. Suddenly, a figure emerged at the head of the forces. It was Maurik himself, his dark cloak flowing, eyes burning with malicious intent. So, the girl stands at the heart of Eldoria, he called, his voice echoing through the hall. Let us see if she can protect what she cannot yet control. Lyanna's pulse quickened, but she did not hesitate. She channeled the energy of the pendant, her glowing hands, radiating pure light. She felt the power flow through her, stronger than ever, responding to her will. The first clash was monumental. Maurik's dark energy collided with Lyanna's radiant power, sending shockwaves across the palace grounds. Riven engaged Maurik's minions, cutting through with precision, while Celine ensured that no harm came to the civilians. Lyanna focused, letting her emotions guide her, blending courage, determination, and love for her people into her power. The glowing marks on her hands flared brightly, forming intricate patterns that pulsed with life. Maurik staggered back, surprised by the intensity of her energy. Impossible. She grows stronger with every battle, he hissed, anger and frustration rising. Lyanna took a step forward, her voice steady. I am not afraid of you, Malric. Eldoria will not fall while I still stand. The battle raged on, and though victory was not yet assured, Lyanna had discovered something vital. Her power was not just a weapon. It was a reflection of her heart, her courage, and her will to protect those she loved. And as the sun began to rise over Eldoria, casting golden light on the battlefield, Lyanna knew one thing for certain. This was only the beginning of her journey, and no darkness could stop her from defending her kingdom. The skies above Eldoria darkened as Malric unleashed his full might. Shadows twisted into monstrous forms, surging toward the palace like a living tide. Lyanna stood at the gates, her pendant glowing brighter than ever, the energy within her responding to her resolve. Riven drew his sword, positioning himself beside her. This is it, Lyanna. Stay focused. Together we can defeat him. Celine moved among the defenders, ensuring civilians were protected, her determination unwavering. You've got this, Lyanna, she called, her voice carrying courage. Malric emerged at the head of his army, his cloak swirling in the storm of dark energy. So, the girl dares stand before me, he sneered. Let's see if your heart can withstand true darkness. Lyanna took a deep breath, letting her fear transform into determination. She raised her hands, summoning a brilliant beam of radiant light that cut through the shadows, scattering Malric's forces. The ground trembled as energy clashed against energy, a spectacle of light and dark that shook Eldoria to its foundations. Riven struck with precision, deflecting attacks and protecting Lyanna, while Celine guided the villagers to safety. The trio fought in perfect coordination, each drawing strength from the others. Malric roared, summoning a massive shadow beast to strike at Lyanna directly. She stepped forward, channeling every ounce of power, her glowing hands forming intricate patterns of light. With a final, focused surge, she unleashed a beam so pure and intense that it shattered the shadow beast and sent Malric stumbling back. For a moment, silence fell. Malric glared, furious, yet realizing he had underestimated her. Impossible. How can she wield such power, he hissed. Lyanna, breathing heavily but steady, stepped forward. Your reign of terror ends here, Malric. Eldoria belongs to its people, not to your darkness. With a final clash, Lyanna's radiant power met Malric's dark energy. The force of their battle shook the palace grounds, but Lyanna's determination, courage, and heart proved stronger. Malric, overwhelmed, was forced to retreat into the shadows, his plan defeated for now. Riven approached Lyanna, placing a protective hand on her shoulder. You did it. Eldoria stands because of you. Celine smiled, tears in her eyes. I knew you could do it, Lyanna. As dawn broke, light spread across the kingdom, banishing the lingering shadows. Eldoria had survived, stronger and united. Lyanna looked at the sunrise, the pendant around her neck pulsing softly, a reminder that her journey had only begun. But she was ready for whatever challenges lay ahead. The sun rose over Eldoria, casting golden light across the kingdom. The battle with Malric was over for now, but the echoes of chaos still lingered. Lyanna stood on the palace balcony, pendant glowing softly, feeling the weight of her newfound responsibility. Riven joined her, his expression both proud and contemplative. You've done more than anyone could have imagined, Lyanna. Eldoria owes its survival to you. Lyanna shook her head slightly. I didn't do it alone. Celine, you, and the people of Eldoria, everyone gave their courage. I only channeled what was already there. Celine appeared behind them, smiling warmly. And you did it brilliantly. But we must remain vigilant. Malric will not give up so easily. He's cunning, and I have a feeling this is just the beginning. Lyanna touched the pendant. I understand. This power, it's not just for fighting. It's for protecting, for guiding Eldoria. I must continue to learn, to grow. Riven nodded. We will face what comes together. But for today, take a moment to rest. The kingdom needs its heroes, but heroes also need peace. As the day unfolded, the citizens of Eldoria worked to repair what had been damaged, their spirits lifted by the bravery of Lyanna and her companions. Markets reopened, children laughed, and the banners of Eldoria waved proudly in the wind. Yet, in the distant mountains, a shadow moved silently. Malric had survived, his dark eyes burning with frustration and determination. She has grown stronger, but I will not fail, he whispered. The next time we meet, it will be decisive, and Eldoria will finally kneel. Back at the palace, Lyanna watched the horizon, determination burning in her heart. Whatever comes next, she said softly, I will be ready. Eldoria will always have light as long as I stand. The dawn of a new era had begun, not just for the kingdom, but for Lyanna herself. Her journey had only started, her powers still growing, and the bonds she had forged with Riven, Celine, and the people of Eldoria would guide her through every challenge to come. And somewhere, deep within the pendant's glow, a quiet whisper promised, this is only the beginning. Lyanna, your destiny awaits. Even as peace settled over Eldoria, Lyanna felt a pull deep within her. The pendant around her neck pulsed softly, almost as if it were calling her somewhere. Something is not right, she murmured, turning to Riven. Riven's brow furrowed. What do you mean? Lyanna held the pendant close. It's like it wants me to remember something about my past. About the magic I carry. Celine stepped forward, eyes wide with curiosity. Do you think it's connected to your family? Maybe there's something hidden, something Malric doesn't know about yet. The three of them set out toward the ancient forest on the outskirts of Eldoria, where the oldest ruins remained untouched by time. The forest was silent, yet alive with energy, as though it knew their purpose. Within the ruins, Lyanna felt the pendant grow warmer. She stepped forward, her hands glowing as she approached an old, stone altar covered in mysterious carvings. Symbols etched into the stone matched the patterns on her hands and pendant. A whisper echoed through the air, soft but clear. Lyanna, remember who you are. The power within you is older than the kingdom itself. Her heart raced. Older than Eldoria, she whispered. Riven placed a protective hand on her shoulder. This explains why Malric fears you. Your power isn't just strong, it's ancient. And now we know it has a history, a purpose that even he cannot fully comprehend. Celine examined the carvings. It looks like your family was connected to this magic. Guardians of the kingdom, maybe. Lyanna clenched her fists, feeling both awe and responsibility. I need to learn more. If Malric is still out there, plotting, I have to understand my power completely. It's the only way to truly protect Eldoria. As they left the ruins, the wind carried a chilling laugh. Malric, watching from afar. So she seeks the past. Very well. Let's see if history will save her, or destroy her. After discovering the ruins, and learning of her family's connection to ancient magic, Lyanna knew that understanding her power was the key to protecting Eldoria. Riven and Celine accompanied her to the sacred training grounds, hidden deep within the Eldorian mountains. The energy here is stronger than anywhere else in the kingdom, Riven explained. It will help you awaken the full potential of your abilities, but it will also test you. Lyanna nodded, determination in her eyes. I'm ready. I need to be ready for Malric, for the kingdom, for everyone. As they entered the training grounds, the pendant around her neck pulsed, reacting to the powerful ambient magic. Shadows and light swirled around her, forming illusions of past guardians and ancient trials. Lyanna took a deep breath, focusing her energy. The first trial tested her courage. Phantom versions of her loved ones appeared, calling for help while surrounded by danger. Lyanna felt panic rise, but forced herself to stay calm. She summoned a beam of radiant light, dispersing the illusions, and passed the trial. Next came the trial of wisdom. Ancient glyphs appeared in the air, forming a complex puzzle of energy channels. She had to direct her power precisely to align them, or the energy would overwhelm her. Sweat dripped down her forehead, but Lyanna focused, letting the pendant guide her hands. One by one, the glyphs aligned perfectly, and the energy stabilized. Finally, the trial of heart awaited. She was faced with a vision of Malric, threatening Eldoria, while she stood powerless. Doubt and fear surged through her, but she remembered Riven and Celine, the villagers, and the people she had sworn to protect. Channeling her determination and love, she unleashed a radiant wave of energy that shattered the vision and filled the training grounds with a brilliant light. Riven and Celine approached, impressed and relieved. You've passed the trials, Riven said. Your control is beyond what I expected. You're ready for whatever Malric throws at you next. Celine smiled. And your heart is stronger than any magic. That's what will truly make the difference. Far away, Malric watched through a dark, scrying orb, fury in his eyes. She grows stronger. She may yet surpass my expectations, but that will only make her downfall sweeter. Peace in Eldoria was fragile. Though Lyanna had mastered the trials of the ancients, she sensed an unseen threat lurking closer than ever. The pendant around her neck pulsed intermittently, warning her of a presence she could not yet see. Riven approached her in the palace courtyard. Lyanna, something is wrong. The defenses report disturbances inside the city walls. Shadows moving without bodies. Maurik is testing us again, but differently this time. Celine's eyes narrowed. Inside the city, that's dangerous. He's finding new ways to attack, even when he can't face us directly. As night fell, eerie figures emerged from the darkness. Shadowy duplicates of citizens appeared, moving like puppets. Lyanna realized that Maurik was using dark magic to manipulate fear and confusion from within. Lyanna clenched her fists. We can't fight them like normal enemies. We need to see through the illusions. Riven nodded. Trust your instincts. Your heart and pendant will guide you. Lyanna closed her eyes, focusing on the energy within her. She visualized each shadowed figure as a fragment of Maurik's magic, not real people. Slowly, her radiant light extended outward, dissolving the illusions one by one. Celine helped guide the real citizens to safety, while Riven engaged the few remaining dark constructs with skill and precision. Together, they began regaining control of the city, but Maurik's laughter echoed faintly through the night. Clever. Lyanna, but can you maintain this control when the ones you love are in real danger? Lyanna's eyes burned with determination. I won't let him break us. Eldoria will stand, no matter what. The shadows dissolved completely under her light, leaving the city quiet and safe once more. Lyanna, though exhausted, had proven that she could protect not only the kingdom's borders, but also its heart, from both outside and within. As dawn approached, Lyanna looked over Eldoria, realizing that Maurik's cunning was only growing and that her journey to mastering her powers and safeguarding her people was far from over. The kingdom of Eldoria had just begun to breathe again after the shadow attacks, but tension lingered in the air. Lyanna sensed unease not just from outside, but within the palace walls. Riven approached, frowning. Something's off. The palace guards report strange behavior among the council members. Whispers of dissent. Celine's eyes widened. You think someone inside is working with Maurik? Lyanna's pendant pulsed urgently. I don't know, but I can feel the deception. Someone close. Someone we trust. That night, as the trio patrolled the palace halls, a council chamber door creaked open. Inside, a shadowy figure stood over a map, markings indicating Maurik's next moves. Lyanna gasped. It's one of the council members. The figure turned, revealing the face of Lord Vale, a trusted advisor to the king. So the young guardian senses my efforts, he sneered. Maurik's vision will succeed, and Eldoria will fall. Riven drew his sword instantly. Traitor! You'll pay for this. Lyanna stepped forward, radiant energy flaring from her hands. You underestimated what we are capable of. Vale, you can't use Eldoria as a pawn. A fierce clash erupted. Vale wielded dark magic granted by Maurik, creating a dangerous duel of power and will. Lyanna focused, letting her pendant guide her, aligning courage, wisdom, and determination. Celine, supported by evacuating servants and deflecting minor attacks, Riven intercepted Vale's strongest spells, ensuring Lyanna could concentrate fully. Finally, Lyanna channeled a concentrated beam of radiant energy, striking Vale and breaking the dark magic's hold over him. He collapsed unconscious, and the map fell to the floor, revealing Maurik's next target, the Eldoria Royal Vault, containing ancient artifacts and secrets. Lyanna's eyes burned with determination. He wants more than destruction. He wants the kingdom's legacy. We can't let him succeed. Riven nodded. Then we prepare. The next battle will be even more dangerous, but we'll face it together. Outside in the shadows, Maurik's laughter echoed faintly. So she uncovers the betrayal. Good. Let's see how she handles what comes next. The heart of Eldoria will tremble before me.